Okay, and we're live already. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, or good day, wherever you're joining us from today. My name is Marina Beer. I'm founder of MARINA&TEAM. And yeah, we help organizations, teams, and leaders to bridge the gap and also balance humanity and performance. And today I'm very happy to be joined by Patrick. Patrick is the CEO and co-founder of Code18, and that's an analytic solution that helps teams measure, understand, and also predict team chemistry so that organizations and teams are able to identify where to focus on, where they can improve, and also drive performance. So today we want to gain some insights and discuss a little bit the power of team data, Patrick, right? And what,
Yes.
yeah, drives performance from the inside out. So thank you for joining me.
Yes. Hi, Marina and everyone. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, really eager to dive into the topic together with you. And maybe I can share some experiences and insights from the teamwork we've been doing here for quite some years.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I guess you and me, we have had many discussions, and some of the things that we're going to look at today, we have been working on and diving into for I think now already more than almost 2 years. Uh, and yeah, I think one of the the projects or the studies most people know, or at least some people may know, is the Google project that was already conducted more than 10 years ago. That was a large research initiative by Google internally to understand why some teams perform and others they don't. And they analyzed more than 180 teams using data from performance reviews, from surveys, from interviews. And I guess some of the leaders that are watching this video, or also teams, they may have heard about that study before, and also some of the keywords that came out of that study. I guess one of the keywords that we have heard many times is psychological safety, was one of the five key factors that Google found out drives the effectiveness of teams. And there were, four more factors. One was reliability, but also structure and clarity, the meaning of work, and also the impact of work. So how people, the what matters, how they contribute to a team. But I think
Yes.
one of the factors that maybe not so many people have heard about, that we are also going to dive into today, is the what Google also found out is that the most important factor is the team dynamic. So that teams that work really well are not so much defined by individual talent, but actually by the team dynamics.
Yes. And I mean, if I recall correctly, the project was called Aristoteles
Hmm.
because he has a quote, I think a famous quote that goes like, a team is more, or a system is more than the sum of the pieces.
Yes. Yeah.
So yes, and that was that was actually the yeah to try to prove what makes a successful team and to make it measurable. I think they failed on the measurement side, and then they ended up with some qualitative insights like qualitative concepts like psychological safety are the main drivers. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it was a good initiative that created a movement, also maybe the new work movement that we have seen, that there is more focus on also relationships and important aspects of how we work together and how we collaborate. But as you said, what Google hasn't been able to do, and what um yeah what is also lacking in the process, maybe of a lot of the work that has already been done since then, is actually really measuring data, understanding, but also then predicting. Because if we look at, yeah, the high performance environments or industries even, then all those areas where we want to improve, optimize, or understand, then we see that there are a lot of measurements. And in companies, those would be financial KPIs or operational KPIs. But also we see that in sports, like really high performing athletes, but also teams, they have their key measurements that they're continuously relate to and to find out where they stand. And then also individually, we have started to really measure what we're doing, our heartbeat, our steps, our contacts, our followers. But in this important aspect of team, we are not measuring, or most of teams that we know, they're not measuring, and it's still a missing part of the puzzle in a way. So yeah, maybe Patrick, you can tell us a little bit why it's such an important aspect of team development to actually have data.
I think it's not the point that we don't want to measure. I think if we
Mhm.
could, there would be an accepted way to do that. A lot of people would maybe like to measure something, some more KPIs about teams,
Mhm.
but there haven't been the convincing methods and tools that really had a breakthrough, or
Okay.
that really led to a change. So this is a bit a black hole in the whole, yeah, work optimization or performance optimization industry. So how do we actually measure how people work together? And what if we measure it, what could we do about it?
Okay.
So what can I tell you? We both come from the healthcare pharma logistics side. We have a track record
Yeah.
there. I used to be group controller first at Envirotainer. So
Okay.
we I started with measuring everything that was measurable.
Yeah.
Then I moved on to be COO of Envirotainer and was responsible for measuring a lot of data along the supply chain. And now I've ended up here with working with teams and measuring teams. But so we measure everything in a compliant environment like pharma logistics. But we are in Stone Age when it comes to measure how do people work together as a
Mhm.
collective, as a team, or as a group, or as an organization. There we are really in Stone Age. And at the end of it, it comes down to do some employee surveys, then quarterly review talks, annual review talks. Maybe we have a team retreat, we have coffee talks. Of course, we have one-on-one discussions, but it's all handmade and it all depends a lot on the individual competence of the people, how they do it
Mhm.
at, at this very moment. Interaction takes place. So it's a bit, if you start a new job and you end up in company A or B, you have selected it well on paper, but then you start working there, and then the human factor starts working, and you didn't know how it would be,
Yeah.
and then it's like a lottery. Each meeting, every year, each team you're in, it's like a lottery. If you have a good team fit or good team energy, or we call it team chemistry, or not. And we all know the stories when you get home from work and you tell your partner, how work life was, and then you talk about those stories she said and he said and what they did and how it did, and I'm so frustrated or I'm so happy, and it's up and down, and it's a bit really it's a lottery we have little control of. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess at least it feels that way, but I guess that is what we want to dive into today, so that it's, of course, at first it's like something that is really uncontrollable and not measurable and not plannable, like all the other aspects of an organization, like operations, like sales. And that is what we want to look at. So how can we make that more plannable, more measurable? And yeah, maybe back to the question, why is it so important that we measure? That we that it becomes more data focused.
Yes. Um, I mean, the point of measurement of any situation is a starting point of reflection. Where do we stand? I want to have an insight on the actual state of a process, a system, or an organization, and I want to have information about it. So the more good information I gather, the better is my reflection. And and from a good reflection or from a good situation analysis basis, I can then discuss and choose or simulate strategic options. What could I do? What could we do? And then we could decide together on where to go. But how do you get a good situation analysis basis? If you talk about team situations, where do we stand? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but if we want to analyze how well was the door-to-door shipment and did we match all requirements and by time, temperature, date, and all of that, we can of course measure that. But to start with, a measurement gives control, gives a rational, gives logic arguments, gives hints for assumptions and hints for where are we in the situation right now. And
Yeah.
it makes pause for a moment, stand still, look at the data, and reflect on the situation.
Yeah. And I remember we had a discussion or yeah, conversation about this earlier where you mentioned that already measuring, even though like you could I mean, we're now not talking about measuring with a specific system, but just as a company to decide, okay, we want to start measuring this part of our organization, and we can define ourselves what do we want to measure in this aspect of team performance, that could already bring an improvement of around 20% of yeah.
Yeah, this is my own experience. If you
Yeah.
haven't, if you have not measured anything in your work environment or a specific topic or process or team yet, just by the process of starting measurement, and this doesn't have to be a really good measurement, just by putting the awareness on it and start to measure something, changes something. Um, why is that? Because I think if you want to measure something, you are interested in the situation and you ask the right questions, you get data, you want to understand it, so you get into it. You get into understanding a situation and you want to get into it. And that focuses your awareness and your consciousness on, hey, I really want to understand. And we just start now measuring. And if you radiate that, we start here because we want to know, we want to understand, that makes already a change. Even though in the beginning, mostly if you start with controlling systems, the first KPIs and numbers you gather, they are really, I mean, they are not so trustworthy, but that doesn't matter. Just by starting measuring and then improving step by step, understanding, improving, adding knowledge, it's a really good consciousness process that makes you smarter and wiser.
Yeah. Yeah.
And looking back at my hardcore controlling days, when you find a company that has little or very, yeah, maybe not so well developed controlling,
Yeah.
that's great. If you start there as a controller, you can only win because if you do
Yeah.
it more or less correctly, I would say I would promise you that you have a potential of plus minus 20% efficiency gains just by doing it, just by
Okay.
starting it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. I
Yes.
guess the challenge with measuring, I mean, in a way, it's dynamics, right? It's human interactions, and I guess sometimes it feels less intangible, or also in the analysis that Code18 does, it's some aspects of it are intuitive, or we also the mind then gets into the game of, okay, but there are individual interpretation of what something means. But you would still say that despite of that, you always see that you get this improvement just by making it visible and therefore discussable and therefore actionable.
Yes. From my experience, you need two factors that the measurement is successful.
Hmm.
One is people need to know that the tool we are using, the measurement tool, that it's scientific or that it's reliable and it's not just, I don't know, it's not just something that someone has invented and it's not proven. So there needs to be a good instrument that people
Okay.
trust. And then a second factor to make it a success is after the measurement, people look at the data and their gut feeling tells them or makes them tell, this is reflecting our situation. I believe in that. I think this is more or less how I think it is. So they get a um,
Would you,
perception of the measurement was correct.
yeah, I guess it's something like buy-in, right? Because there is a
Acceptance,
certain
time,
acceptance. Yeah.
and the realization, hey, this is actually quite well reflecting our situation. Okay. And then you are beyond that point of everybody's doubting it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe integrating, not integrating, but this intrigue, making an intrigue. I don't believe the data.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
go, I don't go further. So if the team accepts the result, it's a big step already in the development process
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
because then you can leave that behind. Yes, we agree on the situation. We believe all of us together, we believe this is a well good enough analysis of our situation. So now we can switch into the solution mode.
Yeah.
Um,
Would you say that that's already part of then feeling in control? Because I mean, I guess that's why, right? When we measure in other areas of a business or also personal or in a sports team, it's in a way gives us control how we can develop, how we can move forward, how can we improve. Is that already a part of of gaining control to have everyone's buy-in?
yes, to have everybody's buy-in, and as well, you have something to hold on to. You have KPIs like team energy, team polarity. You have something you can read, like from a doctor's
Mm.
health report.
Yeah.
You get some indicators,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and then you have something to talk about. Why is that? And you can ask, and hey, what do you think? Why is that so low? And why are we low on energy? And why is the polarity of our opinions so high on this aspect of teamwork? And so you get a language with the
Mhm.
measure to,
Okay.
yeah, a language you would not have had, and it's a democratic language everybody can speak to. You don't need to have studied, or you don't need to be a psychologist or a team expert. You get an analysis and everybody can join into the discussion about the factors of team success.
Yeah. So that is, I guess, the foundation also of a common understanding that we have a common language, we have a common acceptance of yeah, this is the situation, and then from there, uh, yeah, we can start to start the process of control.
Yes, because if you want to change, I call it a human system. Let's take a team
Yeah.
of 7 people, it's
Yeah.
a human system. If you want to efficiently and effectively change a team situation, you need to take along all parts of the team, all 7 cells or all 7 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, be part of the entire process from measurement to acceptance of discussing and then agreeing on what to do and then being interested of what has come out of it. So that only works if you involve the entire team. So the system works inside out. And it's not
Yeah.
someone from outside coming to trying to intervene, like a surgeon, was
Yeah.
surgery, or telling the boss what to do because the team. No, it's the team itself that is
Mm.
its own guru, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also not management or someone who is like in the hierarchy. It's really
Yes, it's not an
every voice
outside in
counts
process,
same.
inside out
Yeah.
process.
Okay. Nice.
And in my experience, this is the only way it works. All
Yeah.
the other ways of trying to manipulate or steer from outside into a team that feels like then controlled or dominated or not involved, really, really difficult. So make the team
Yeah.
more of the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
So
solution.
it's really a journey, a joint journey, and also an onboarding. Even if you develop that process in a way by yourself to just start to measure some KPIs to involve the key team. Okay, what is important for you? What do we want to measure?
Yes, and remember the way we do it is we have a survey for all team members. So our data gathering method is asking every team member some questions, and by this we get team data. So we are asking the team itself to generate data about the team itself.
Diagnose.
We
Yeah.
take it back, translate it into a diagnosis,
Yeah.
and make it discussable. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all about self-steering of
Yeah.
teams and not external steering. Or HR department says you have to do this and this and
Yeah.
this, and here's the assessment center, and there's the assessor, and we are analyzing personalities and from outside in.
Yeah.
That doesn't work in my experience. So it's more empowering the team itself if it wants to.
Mm.
There's always a decision point first. Do you really want to go into team development? If a team doesn't want to, then it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess in Code 18, if they don't want to participate, then their voice is not then we just don't count it. It's also in a way a message to themselves about how they feel about the team, but we can also
Yes,
force people to be part. Um,
yes.
but I also have experienced that in my workshops that also they didn't have the team didn't have the feeling that we told them how they are. So it's also not Code 18 if Code 18 would do the analysis, but they really felt that the answers were their answers, and I think
Oh,
it really made a difference.
exactly. Mhm.
One part that's yeah one of the for me it's one of the most exciting parts of the work you do is about predicting team performance. And I mean, that's also in a way what many industries are aiming for. You know, measuring is just has become standard. If you want to really make a difference in many industries, you're expected to not just measure and kind of gather data, but you're expected to predict outcomes, results, whether that be financial markets or supply chains. The gold standard is to be able to predict and also avoid negative results as well, right? That really, is what we aim for. And for me, I mean, there is this famous quote from Chief Steve Jobs that you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you kind of have to trust that the dots will align. And I guess many of us have experienced that as well in their career and in their personal life, that in a moment sometimes we don't understand why things are happening. But at the same time, I have also always this saying that you can connect the dots looking forward. I think sometimes we also pretend that, or we want to just put on some glasses that we don't have to face the challenges or the uncomfortable situation. And whether that be if we have been in a job and we keep getting sick and we are not happy or unhealthy and we stay there, then we kind of know what's going to happen. But also if you are a leader and an employee is repeatedly frustrated and expresses that, and then yeah, we kind of chances are high that we may lose that team member. So we can predict in a way the future. And I know that you have made some experience in predicting team performance and team outcomes. And yeah, I would be keen if you can tell us about that a little bit, and also how can that support leaders, but also what can they do to predict those outcomes, even if it's not with a solution such as Code18. Maybe it's just like, yeah, actually that a bit higher bird perspective on, okay, seeing the connections and the dots that we can connect to the future.
Yes, so what did we do? Because we found out we have created by intuition and playfulness, and later on only by backing it up with scientific proof, we found out we have created an instrument that is scientifically really strong, and that means the reliability of the instrument is very high. That means it measures with the same accuracy again and again and again. So it's a good instrument with high reliability. But what you also want to measure is the validity. If you measure it and use the information, do you produce better outcomes? So is there an effect of using this
Yeah.
instrument? And where to measure that best? If you want to measure teams, where you want to measure outcomes. So we said we go to the professional sports arena, and we analyze soccer teams, ice hockey teams, and all we did is we always analyzed the team chemistry that we measured of the team that was on the field in the game, playing actively any second, any minute of a game. So let's take a soccer game, the 11 players of one team that are on the field right now. We found a way to measure the team chemistry of team A. Let's call it Bayern Munich. Yesterday played against Atlanta Bergamo. And then we also measured the team chemistry of team B, Atlanta Bergamo. And we have a score for that KPI that is from 0 minimum to 100 maximum per team. Team chemistry really high is up to 100 is the highest score. And if Bayern Munich has a team chemistry on the field of 80 and Atlanta Bergamo 60, there's a gap.
Yeah.
And by a gap of 20 points, we know we have a really strong prediction of which team will score next. Regardless of which player is on the field, are there the stars on the field or not, we are only measuring how well do the people in a team fit as a team,
Together.
humans,
Yeah.
as a human system, and not any other aspects of the game. And we are measuring that now for years, and in 4 different leagues and for thousands of goals, and the prediction works. So we know that a good team chemistry team scores 65% more goals than an average team chemistry team. And that explains, this is a bit a missing dot in sport data, because 50% of all goals that are scored in soccer, nobody knows yet why they are scored.
Yeah.
And we can shed a bit light on that black hole of 50% unknown goals. I think we can take out 20% explanation for why goals are happening there, because the mix of people on the field, the human mix of people on the field is good or bad.
Yeah, understand.
And if you have had that team experience in your private life or in your sports life or work life, we all had experiences like we are in a flow as a team, we just feel it. that really fits well, or this doesn't really fit well. This is really, really awkward. Now this is
Yeah.
really hard
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we found a way to not only feel that, but measure that.
Yeah.
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 And link it to the goals. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really impressive if you also translate that in industries, in our work life, in companies. And of course, we cannot just switch players in a team, but we know which factors we need to develop on in a team, then that already can make a huge impact. And yeah, I'm just wondering, like, I mean, if you have a team of people, like a football team, I guess, would you say it's really difficult as a leader to predict that without having the data, um, or are there ways
Yes,
how you
it
can?
is. I mean, certain situations there, the trainer or a leader has a good gut feeling for the
Mm,
human factor of the game. But
yeah,
when you start and you start your job, you already mostly there is a team in the room.
yeah,
Huh? So you start with a given situation,
yeah.
then you start to develop it based on your gut feeling, and you put it together, and maybe you are successful. Um, like former trainer Otto Rehagel, or some trainers who have a good gut feeling, and then you keep the team chemistry up over some years, but then you leave. Maybe you leave as a trainer who has that capability. You leave company or the team, and all the knowledge and all the gut feeling leaves the door,
Mm,
because it was all of that was dependent on one or a few
yeah,
persons
yeah.
who just had a good sensoric capabilities for dealing with humans as a team. So it leaves the door when people leave, or the competence leaves. And that doesn't have to be, because if you can measure it, you can train it, you can pass it on, the knowledge.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you are just more aware, and you make it more independent from individuals,
True.
that it works well. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's I guess it's a field that it's still to be. There is much to be explored, and that yeah. On the one hand, on the other hand side, it's so critical because we all yeah know that flow feeling, and we most of us have experienced it, but it yeah, I guess to a big extent nowadays it's kind of random. Like either there is a person that had the gut feeling to hire those people that have that team chemistry, and then that person may leave, or just by coincidence those people have come together, not through someone gut feeling, but just because the people came together and they fit together. Uh, and yeah, but it's not yeah replicable. It's not you cannot grasp it, and I guess that's why it's also so challenging for people to yeah really work on this team performance, because yeah it feels like it's not tangible, but actually we can make it tangible.
Yes, and I mean, there's great efforts and acceptance of importance of leadership, education, and courses,
Mm,
and all that. Um, but most of the formats or the methods go to in talking to one-on-one discussions,
mm, yeah,
understanding this person. How do I communicate? How do I listen? But there is very, very little learning about how can I read a, a whole team. I have this team. What do I see? What do I read out of the team? You know, and then you manage the team, and you do not manage the individuals. Of course, you do that as well, but at the end, it's much more promising to manage the system and not the individual cells of a system.
yeah.
And for that, you need help. There's not many methods you can use to do that. and it's also a new aspect of work. And it becomes more and more important that we believe more in the power of collectives, the power of teams. And so we call it from ego to ecosystems, or from me to we.
Yeah.
So I think the management of the future is the management of we and not the management of you and me. So it's not a team of we.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is a lot of potential there. And I guess then in the end, those insights need to be translated into actions as well, right? That's with anything that we measure, that's not enough. Then we need to translate it yeah, now that we have data, okay, which actions do result from that?
Yes, and there are two sides to approach that. One action is we've discussed it, what comes out of the team itself as a wish and a development wish and maybe also a recommendation. So the own team wisdom, use that
Yeah,
because most of it is good.
yeah,
And the other one is maybe when we start to measure, we can measure some patterns and some risks and some hints, and then comes also some diagnostic recommendation into it as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
If you miss both of it, you can only win. What can you lose? Nothing. You can only win.
Yeah, it gives a lot of insight and makes things visible and also drives already the
Yeah.
actions.
And it also saves energy. It's very efficient at the end of
Mm.
the day. I mean, a lot of energy is lost, uh, like a house with bad walls. All the heating energy goes out, here and there, a leak,
Yeah,
and they open the window, and oh God, all the team energy is in and out. But if you have a focused process and you know what you're doing and you trust in the process, it's all focused on it, and the rest of the day you can spend your energy on other things. So it's also very, a focused support.
yeah,
So much more aware and efficient in team steering.
yeah. It's basically from
Because you
data
measure.
to action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
making
you
it
capture the
actionable.
topic and you make it visible, discussable, and actionable, and you can also park it for a time. And it's not that floating unseen monster beneath the carpet that you can't control.
Yeah,
But you can look at it and discuss it, and that makes you feel in control actually, and that you can have an impact.
yeah. Yeah, I find it really fascinating and also exciting because it really, yeah, it can really change the way we work together and also the way people feel at work and the way they feel part and um yeah, and it's really for me it's really a strategic way, right? It's not like we're just it's part of the strategy. The team must be part of the strategy.
Yes, it's also a philosophy question. What do you believe in? Do you believe what is your management style or philosophy? Do you believe in um, work as a group, participate and integrate as many people into the development of an organizational team? Do you believe in that is strong and that makes fun and that is successful? Then you go this way. But
Mm,
of course, there are also other opinions out there that like more to steer from top down.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, for me, it doesn't mean that the hierarchies have to be removed completely, right? It just means that we have a common understanding. And yeah, the fact that what we see in sports prediction, I think it's a no-brainer to go that route. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I guess it's this intangible, it's very complex, right? There are many cells coming together in a system and that bring many aspects and patterns already within themselves, and then that all comes together and it feels like it's not manageable. But I guess there is a starting point, and yeah, I also find it really interesting, and I can also confirm that one of the studies that we also have looked into that says that 90% of the people have already experienced flow. And what basically is the aim is to not make it random and to make it kind of coincidence, luck, whatever, but that is really the process is really turning that data into actions, and that makes it more plannable, more predictable, more certain, more, yeah, it just makes us feel in a way more stable, more secure as well.
Yes. Yeah, and let us be honest. I mean, I've learned it my whole career life. I started with thinking strategy is the king discipline, is the best thing that you can do.
Hmm.
And then, okay, strategy, yeah, it's nice, but if you have a strategy and no one takes action, oh, okay. And then without vision, and then I started to dive into vision. Vision is important. Without vision, you don't have a soul in what is
Yeah.
happening. And then I ended up with at the end, all of that is really important. But at the end, you sit there around a table with 10 human beings. They have their story, their history, they have their uh, daily situations. And at the end, it's a human game. Yeah? And there's the biggest level of success in is playing the human game correctly.
Yeah.
Much bigger than having a vision or strategy. Those are really good tools.
Mm.
But I would have to choose one. Is just if I just have to book one course, I would book the human management course, not the strategy course, not the vision course, not the IT, not the black belt and the
Yeah.
certifications. Yeah, the human management course. This is my
Nice.
strong recommendation for anyone.
Yeah. I guess one part that I always also have seen, which I guess because when we have those flow teams, then yeah, things are moving, and it's really a good spirit, and also success comes out of that, even if it's not immediate, but there is a certain energy to keep going. But
Mhm.
then when those teams dissolve, then it's never considered the opportunity cost of that, right? Because the company continues, the projects continues, everything continues, but the opportunity cost of dissolving a flow team, I think it's or not having a flow team is never also considered in the KPIs.
Sunk cost or invisible. It's an
Yeah,
invisible
yeah,
factor.
yeah,
And of course, teams change and people come and go. So it would be really nice to manage a certain level, or at least be interested in it and try to manage that.
yeah,
Really manage team flow within your organization. Why not?
yeah.
Why
I
not?
guess it's
Give
become
me a good
clear
reason.
that that we are real team fans. And
Yeah, but all the facts and all the studies and all the science, well, I mean, it's not a belief, it's not a
yeah,
religion. It's also
yeah, it's a
it's
fact.
look at
Yeah,
the facts, and if you turn away from that fact, it's unprofessional.
yeah,
Unprofessional. You can't deny that. If it's possible, you should it would be actually in the job description of any manager should have been should be now
mm,
manage teams, manage team chemistry, manage team flow. This is your part of a big part of your job
yeah,
as a leader.
great. Thank you,
Mhm.
Patrick, for this short, yeah, conversation. I
Thank
hope it was valuable and insightful. Maybe some new perspective for some of the people that are watching this video. If you, yeah, liked it, or if you gained some insights, then, or if you have any questions, please leave a comment, and also feel free to share with a colleague or a friend. And if you're interested to learn more about team performance, but also team data, or how does this all work, right? Maybe you just landed here and you're like, what? You can measure team data? Never heard about that. Then, yeah, you find the details to contact us in the comments. And Yeah, thank you again, Patrick. Is
Yes.
there anything else you want to share?
No, just see it playful. The next
Yeah.
newspaper heading you read like the millionaires team in soccer loses against the nobodies. Why is that? Maybe think about team chemistry.
Yeah, nice.
Mm. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Mm.
Thank
Okay.
you, Patrick, and see you back soon back here at MARINA&TEAM and wish you a great day.
You too. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.